What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns. Climbing back up on Mount Soapbox along with my cape and cowl at hand, along with my bat rope and shark repellent, doing a Batman Arkham Knight rant. Why, you ask? Well, two reasons. One, some of you suggested whenever I put out my State of the Channel video a few days ago that I do rant videos about other games besides Grand Theft Auto Online. And B, there was some Batman Arkham Knight news last week. Now, as most of my faithful viewers, subscribers, and fans know, I am a huge Batman fan. Been one ever since I was a kid, when my granny forced me to watch the Adam West 1960 Batman reruns, along with Batman the Animated Series, the Tim Burton Batmans. I'm not going to mention Schumacher Batmans. Never saw them. Okay, fine. I did see them. Okay, Batman Forever was okay. It had its moments. Not many, but Batman and Robin was horrible. Anyway, so Nolan redeemed the Batman series with the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and of course, Dark Knight Rises, which was the lesser of the three films, but still a bazillion times better than Batman and Robin. Okay, so I got into Batman Arkham series from the very beginning in 2009 when Batman Arkham Asylum came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. I played the demo, absolutely loved it because A, Batman was voiced once again by Kevin Conroy, and of course Joker voiced by Mark Hamill. I had to get that game, and I absolutely loved it, along with Arkham City when it came out a few years later, and Arkham Origins wasn't bad, even though it wasn't made by Rocksteady. Then, of course, after a few delays, we finally got our grubby hands on Batman Arkham Knight, July 23rd for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Now, before we begin with my ranting, there will be spoilers. So first off, my first issue revolves around the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight, developed by Iron Galaxy. Now, from day one, there was obvious problems with the PC port for Batman Arkham Knight, so much so that WB pulled the PC version in the hopes of fixing it, patching it, only for it to be re-released last week, and still there are problems with the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight. Which leads us to this article over at ArkhamVerse.com, linked below in the description section. The PC version of Batman Arkham Knight suffered from performance problems on many lower-end PC specs, thus earned the error to many customers who bought it, and WB in response has offered a refund. Quote unquote, we are very sorry that many of our customers continue to be unhappy with the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight. We worked hard to get the game to live up to the standard you deserve, but understand that many of you are still experiencing issues. So until the end of 2015, WB will be issuing a refund for the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight, which is somewhat good news, I guess, but the problem here is WB is guilty of rushing the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight out, along with the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 versions, when it obviously needed more time. If WB Games was wise, they would have followed Rockstar's example concerning Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online. Now, obviously, the last-gen version of Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in September 2013. A year later, the current-gen version came out in November 2014. But the very last version of Grand Theft Auto 5 to come out was the PC version because it was not ready. They delayed it, and then they delayed it again till April 2015. Now, a lot of gamers out there were frustrated with how long it took for the PC version of Grand Theft Auto 5 to come out. But looking back, you can understand why Rocksteady took their time, because they had problems with the PC version of Grand Theft Auto 4. So they learned their lesson from Grand Theft Auto 4, and they wanted to do it right this time, which is one of the big differences between Rockstar and WB Games. Now, you can't entirely blame Rocksteady, the makers of Batman Arkham Knight, for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 because of the fact that the PC version was being ported, developed by Iron Galaxy. Now, I don't know if Iron Galaxy was not up to the task or simply being pushed and pushed to a deadline that was not feasible by WB Games. The point is, the PC version of Batman Arkham Knight absolutely bombed. My next issue with Batman Arkham Knight is the $40 season pass, which as a YouTuber I was compelled to purchase in order to show you guys the content that has come out. Now, so far we've gotten a lot of stuff. We've gotten a couple story missions, Batgirl Matter of Family, Nightwing's GCPD Lockdown, several character skins, and Batmobiles, and Batmobile-themed tracks from several eras like Tim Burton, Nolan, recently the 60s TV show Batman, and challenges 1, 2, and 3. Now, the good news is more content is underway. This month, November, we're going to get the Catwoman's Revenge story, even though that was supposed to come out in October. Then, I think sometime later, we're getting Batman v Superman Batmobile and the Batflex suit. Then, in December, the Batman story, Night of Infamy, along with some other additional DLC packs as well. Now, my issue with the DLCs is the fact that they're small and it really feels like they're being nickeled and dimed. Now, yes, the Batgirl Matter of Family DLC was $7, relatively cheap for maybe an hour's worth of gameplay. All the others were about, what, $2 US, so it's not too expensive, but at the same time, it's just like little pieces of candy being put out by WB Games. Like, a couple pieces of candy here, a couple pieces of candy there, instead of like, nice, big, fat, juicy steak of a DLC. Now, I realize that this, once again, is probably not Rocksteady's doing. They're simply answering to the bigwigs upstairs at WB Games who decided to go with this angle concerning Batman Arkham Knight. Now, let's dive into the DLCs. The racetracks, for example, they're all time trial. Now, I would have preferred, and I think you would have too, if these racetracks had a multiplayer variant to them, which would have, made the game last a lot longer. There would have been a bit more replay factor if you could take the various Batmobiles and race them against other players for, points, to unlock new items and unlock new vehicles, for example. A GCPD squad car, Bruce Wayne's limo, maybe some character vehicles like the Joker Mobile, a car for Penguin, Two-Face, Riddler-themed, Bane, Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Nightwing, etc. Now, I've really enjoyed the recent update with the 1960s Bat tracks from the Adam West TV show, along with the Batmobile from that era. Those are fun. They look cool, plus they have the 1960s Batman theme to them. But I just think it would be a lot more fun if these were actual racetracks where you could race against other players. Maybe not like 20 or 30 players, maybe like 7 or 10 players. You just go into a server and you race them, and it would just added a bit more replay factor if the racetracks would have been done a little bit differently than strictly single player time trial. Next concerns the challenge modes. Now, I enjoy the challenge modes, but the problem is, in previous installments of the Batman Arkham series, the challenge modes came with the game, or you had to unlock them while playing the game. This time, you have to actually purchase these challenge modes, which, in my honest opinion, sucks. It's another prime example of WB Games nickel and diming this game when we already dropped $60 for the game itself. Now, speaking of the challenge modes, there's different types, but I want to specifically talk about the dual play, which is kind of fun, but it would have been funner if instead of dual play, we also had the option to make those challenge modes co-op, where you could actually do the challenge modes with a friend. That would have been so awesome. You teaming up as Batman and Robin, or Robin and Nightwing, or Batman and Catwoman, taking on a whole bunch of thugs, wave after wave, or in a time trial. You have to beat them up within 2 minutes or 3 minutes. That would have been so sweet if you had the ability in Batman Arkham Knight challenge modes and the dual play to switch it to co-op and play with a friend. Now, moving over into free mode, just a small issue. I don't like the fact that it's Bat only, meaning that you can only run around Gotham as Batman. Yes, you can pick out various skins thanks to all these DLCs. I would just like the ability to take Catwoman, Robin, Nightwing, and Azrael and have them run around the city as well, just pummeling thugs, doing their thing, maybe having their own specific side quests or riddle trophies, just like Catwoman had in Batman Arkham City, to collect just something else to do to add further replayability to the game. It would just been really cool if we could play as other characters in free roam besides Batman. Speaking of all those bat suits, okay, so there's a whole bunch of bat suits, obviously, but the first thing I would say is it would have been really cool if Rocksteady would have had some additional unlockable bat suits, some special ones that you did not have to purchase via DLC or Season Pass. Furthermore, this is something that's really bothered me since Batman Arkham City, when they first started introducing several different bat suits. I want the bat suits to be unique, not just in aesthetics, but in abilities, strengths, weaknesses, pros, cons. For example, the Dark Knight Returns bat suit should be able to take more damage than the regular bat suit, but at the same time, it's slower, meaning that if you're on the ground, you're going to run a little bit slower because it's heavier, because Batman's supposed to be older, and you might not be able to glide as far with that bat suit, but at the same time, it would be perfect for getting into a brawl with a whole bunch of thugs. Another suit idea is the PS4 exclusive Adam West Batsuit, which I'm kind of irked about, a little salty because I have the Xbox One version. It would be cool if that Batsuit had the effects like pow, bang. If you watch the 1960s Batman TV show or the movie, you know what I'm talking about. It would just be cool if you had that ability. Just a silly thing, but just something unique to add to the Batsuit. Or another prime example, the Batman Beyond suit, which looks horrible. It doesn't even resemble the Batsuit that Terry McGinnis wore, besides the Batman Beyond logo on the chest. Now, what I would like to see is obviously a better looking Batman Beyond suit. Furthermore, some of the abilities that Terry McGinnis had in Batman Beyond, like the jet boots allowing Batman to actually fly around Gotham, the cloak mode, which makes Batman relatively invisible as long as he's standing still, but at the same time, that suit would have to be weaker as a trade-off for wearing that particular bat suit. And finally, I move on to the Batmobile itself. Now, I have some issues with this. I'm going to try and get through it quickly because this rant is going on rather long. Okay, so the DLC Batmobiles, some of them lack the weapon mode. For example, the Tim Burton Batmobile, the Nolan Tumbler from the Dark Knight series, and of course, most recently, the Adam West Batmobile. They should have weapon modes. Yes, they didn't have weapon modes in the various movies and TV shows, but still, all the Batmobiles should have a weapons mode, especially since we're paying for them. Now, the final thing I'm going to say about the Batmobile is I enjoy using it. I'm glad it's finally included in the game because it's something we've been asking for a long time now, ever since Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City and Arkham Origins. So I'm glad Rocksteady finally added the Batmobile. However, sometimes it feels like it's being forced on us. Other times it's overused and it ends up being required in too many boss fights. Prime example, I am not happy about the fact that the Deathstroke battle is exactly the same as the Arkham Knight battle in the tank. I want Batman versus Deathstroke without the damn tanks. Man to man, bat to assassin, mono e mono. That's how it should have gone down, Rocksteady. That one's on you, not WB Games. And since we've gone on nearly 13 minutes, I'll throw in a bonus issue that I had with Batman Arkham Knight. By the way, I absolutely love playing Batman Arkham Knight. These are just some issues I had with it, worthy of making a rant video, even though it's been several months since the game obviously came out. Joker. He is the final issue. Now, I loved Joker's story arc in Batman Arkham Knight. However, he once again steals the spotlight from other villains. Obviously, he was the main bad guy in Arkham Asylum, but Hugo Strange was supposed to be the main baddie in Arkham City, along with Ra's al Ghul. Then, backwards to Arkham Origins. Black Mask was supposed to be the main baddie, along with Bane, but once again, Joker steals the spotlight. In Arkham Knight, I seriously thought it was going to be all about Scarecrow and Arkham Knight, and maybe Ra's al Ghul sneaking in the shadows, pulling the strings once more. But as the old saying goes, you cannot keep the dead clown prince of crime from appearing in a Batman Arkham game.